Hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Connector. I'm back from vacation. Beautiful, beautiful British Columbia. I had a wonderful time up in northern BC. Had I think it's called, it's a place we like to call NBL. I won't tell you what that stands for because it's a hidden gem, and if it gets known in the vast audience of the Big Canucker, then there'll be people there every single day of the year. Anyway, so I'm going to end up getting a video together here, shooting some intros here, and I'll show you some of the beautiful scenery in there later on in the video. Now, the first thing we have got in our back after a little bit of vacation is something that is, I think, a wonderful, wonderful blade. It is this thing here, which is the Sleeper designed by a gentleman by the name of Adam Gibson, who started himself a Canadian knife company called the Canadian Knife Company, strangely enough. And this is his first design out of the gate, and it is called the Sleeper. And I have to tell you, man, the Sleeper is a keeper. We're going to go to the tabletop, and we're going to have a look at this bugger here right now. All right. Look at that in its glory. This is a wonderful, wonderful knife. Now, this is kind of a prototype. This is not the total 100% finished design. There's just some very slight modifications that are coming out in the finished product. And I'll get over those right off the bat here. First thing you're going to have is you're going to have a little bit of jimping down here, and you're also going to have a little bit more of an opening here to close this knife. And I have to say, one of the things about this knife is it is a cutting machine, unbelievable. Now let's go over the specifications really quick here. The length is 7.6 inches, and I've got a couple of knives that are very similar in size and shape, just to give you an idea. Of course, we've got the Spyderco Shaman, and then of course we have a Spyderco Mannix 2 here as well. This is not the XL, just the regular Mannix. And this one here happens to be clad in titanium. If you do get yourself any of these titanium scales for the Mannix, it adds some weight to it. But that's a little off topic. And you can see that it is a fair size knife, a little bit smaller than both of these offerings. And just to give you an idea of a small knife set aside, here's one that is brand new to the collection. This here is the One-Eyed Jack, and that just gives you an idea. So One-Eyed Jack, the Sleeper, and the Shaman. It gives you kind of the idea of the knife. Now, as far as specs wise, you have got yourself 7.6 inches stem to stern. You've got an ounce count of 4.0 ounces, so it's 4 ounces, not on the crazy heavy side, not on the super svelte side either. You want to know, I think sometimes you want to know your knife has got a little substance to it. And 4 ounces, I think, hits that perfect mark. Your blade thickness is 3 millimeters, and it is almost, I guess, a fully flat ground blade, or even a really super high saber ground. You can see where it's fully flat ground here, but then you've got that real little bit of flat spot here, just above the opening. And you can see that it does have a kind of elongated opening with the thumb studs. And I happen to really, really like that, giving you two options to open. It's not going to have the flipper tab on it, because then you're running into all sorts of legalities and illegalities with CBSA border and stuff like that. So if you're carrying this across and back and forth the border, you're not going to have any sort of issues with it whatsoever. Now, the blade finish here is a black wash, and I'm not sure if you can see that it is kind of a coated, and then it's got that really black kind of wash into it, and you can see where I've got a little bit of oh my goodness, I hate it when my thing goes off here. All right. And then of course you've got a micarta handle. On the other side, you have got yourself one of the best clips in the world. I think is the wire clip. Now, this is a blessing and a curse in my opinion, and I'll tell you later on when I go through kind of the pros and the cons of this gorgeous knife here. The micarta here is a premium blue micarta, and I love micarta. When it gets wet, it gets grippier. That's one thing about micarta. It wears so well. It's really comfortable in the hand, and it's absolutely beautiful, especially this kind of two-tone. It almost reminds me of almost like a G'd micarta. All right, so the handle thickness is 15 millimeters. Now, it is not flat. It is actually rounded too as well to give you some ergonomic design, some ergonomics in here. Now, the carry orientation is right hand only. Right hand tip up is the only way that you could get this knife for now. Who knows what's happening down the road, but the majority of the people are right-handed. Anyway, my wife happens to be left-handed. She's not going to be carrying this no matter what. She has her own little favorites, and I'm going to get her to do a video here pretty soon. All right, so pocket clip, like we said, is tip up, a wire clip, and some of the other things here. All your hardware here is black wash too as well. It is all completely it's number 8 torque, so there's no that skinny little 6 torques that's gonna split or strip. They're a nice deep groove inside here too as well. Now the interior of this knife here is it's got a excellent multi-road bearings in here, and it is crazy smooth. You can see that it is definitely drop shut. The action on here is incredible. That's the one thing I have to say about this. Sometimes, and this being a brand new smoking knife right out of the box, no crazy break-in, it was smooth right from the get-go. And I love this. The biggest thing about this knife that I think is the ergonomics on this. This thing is a cutting machine with this fully flat ground blade. Now it is 14C28N, which is an excellent steel here. And, it's a little bit of a budget steel, but 14C28N made by Sandvik. And one of the things about that Sandvik steel, which makes it so good, is the fact that when they have their process of making the Sandvik ingots, is they are incredibly clean steel, and their cutting carbides are universal right through. They do an excellent job at that. And I have to say that the 14C28N or 14C28N definitely punches above its weight class as far as edge retention, toughness, and overall stainlessness too as well. So I think it's an excellent, great steel on this one. Now, like I said, this thing is an absolute cutting machine, and you can see that it just through this cardboard like it's nothing. And that's the one thing that I really like about this knife, is the fact that it just cuts and cuts and cuts, and you have really no crazy fatigue with it whatsoever. I didn't really go crazy hog wild on this knife, just being a little bit of a prototype, and that's not it. And this knife has to go back to my buddy over Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and I didn't want to beat the hell out of it before it went back to him, but I did put it through some paces, and I was very impressed. I mean, the sleeper is definitely a keeper. Now it's coming in at $149.99 Canadian, so I think it's a really well spent $150 if you're going to put this in your pocket, and I am going to put one of these in my pocket 100% for sure. All right, so now let's have a look at some of the things I'm not super fan of. I wish that there was a lanyard hole, and I know a lot of people, that's kind of a subject that people yay or nay. I love lanyard holes because I love putting a lanyard on my knife. As you can see, every single one of my knives that has got a lanyard hole, I tie a leather lanyard on it. I just love that it comes out of your pocket so nicely. Now, the other thing that I wish this had is, I like the wire clip. It's a little bit weird the way it's oriented, and that's just in order to make it a really deep clip, deep carry clip. There's very little sticking out of this, but it just seems like it's a little bit weirdly placed. And when I grasp the knife, my fingers seem to grasp this all the time, and when I press on it, it seems to bend a little bit all the time. Now, I don't know if that's something that's going to be a really long-term issue, that, I'll press on it so much that it pops this or loosens that or bends it or breaks it. I don't know. But it only really happens when I go to grab the knife and open it up. It doesn't happen any other place, just the way my fingers happen to land on the blade. Now, other than that, the nice big choil in the front allows you to do some really good fine work with it on the micro side of things, and it just fits my hands extremely well. And that clip seems to really find a pocket in my in my the pads of my hand where it has no hot spots for me whatsoever. Now with this micarta, it seems like it's a little bit chamfered on the end, so there's no real crazy edges to it that's going to cause some real hot spots. And the fact that this micarta is rounded off just adds to the comfort of this knife. This is an excellent slicer and an excellent work knife all the way around, and it's something that I'm definitely going to put inside my pocket. I'm going to give this probably an 8 out of a 10. It's going to lose, like I said, a couple of marks for this wire clip bending a little bit, and the fact that there's no lanyard hole. I just wish it had a lanyard hole. And I got to say, the owner of Canadian Knife Company, Adam Gibson, this is a tremendous first design out of the gate. I think you're going to have yourself some really, really good success with that. Now, if you want to get a hold of one of these, you can have a look at the CanadianKnifeCompany.com. Read that across the screen here. Plus, I'm going to make sure that I put it in the description too as well. Now, they not only are selling this here, the sleeper. Now, the sleeper here is not, let's just see, it's not for sale yet, but it is coming in late August. You can put your email in there to have them notify you for when this thing is going to be live. The other thing that they happen to sell right now is they happen to sell Gunny Slide and Gunny Glide, which is a couple of lubes for knives and firearms. And I think that they are a little bit less expensive than some of the guys that are out there right now. But the old Gunny Glide is ready to rock. I think here, I'm just going to check, it is, still $22. And I am going to be putting some of this in my rotation too as well. I want to give this Gunny Glide a go and make sure that it is ready to lubricate all of my personal knives. All right, so the sleeper is definitely a keeper. I think you should put one inside your pocket, and I think you should definitely support a fellow Canucker here in Mr. Adam Gibson. Thanks so much for stopping by. Please stay safe out there. Keep your stick on the ice. The shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.